And I don't think that's asking for a lot. I think that a lot of people were so outraged on the internet because they felt like what I was asking for was a lot. And I remember actually I first went viral, like my very first viral video was me talking about going on a date with this lawyer. I was dating this lawyer. And he wanted, like, he was like picking me up for the first date. He picked me up. We had a great date, paid for everything, dropped me back home. It was great. The second date, he calls me and he's like, hey, do you want to like meet me? We were supposed to go to like golfing or something. Like, do you want to meet me at the golf course? The golf course, mind you, is like an hour and a half away from my house and I don't have a car. So I was like, well, I would prefer you to pick me up, or you can just call me an Uber. And then he's like, I recommend that you call your own Uber pretty much. And I'm just like, and so I was already like, okay, this is only a second date and you're already wanting me to travel, which I hate doing on dates. Like, I don't want to travel for you. Like, pick me up like a gentleman. Right. And so I was like, okay, well, I would prefer if you just, pick me up. And I basically just said that. I was like, I expect a man to pay for my Uber. So that was the TikTok. And then I talked about my sister's relationship and how when, the guy that she's with, he paid for all the dates. He would pick her up like a gentleman. 3 years in, they live together. They're happy, getting married, like, this whole thing. And then people were like saying things like, well, if you don't have a car, like, why do you think that you deserve someone with a car who will pick you up? And it's like, I didn't realize that was, it was tit for tat in dating, like, because I don't look for that. I believe that like men that I date, they look for different things than I as a woman would look for. So I'm just like, just because my standards is this and I prefer a gentleman who picks me up and calls me an Uber doesn't mean that that's what necessarily he's looking for too. And the kicker is, like, there were so many people saying, oh, he's right to dump you. Like, I'm so glad he dumped you and like, you're never going to get him, blah, blah, blah. It's so funny because we went on 5 other dates since then. He did call my Uber every single time. Like, you set the tone in your relationships. I fully believe that you set the tone in your relationships. I expected an Uber. He gave me an Uber. It's really not that big of a deal.
Also, like, if he wanted to, he would. If he has the means to, he would.
Of course.
I agree. I like when someone picks me up for a date. I don't think I've ever been Ubered for a date.
Okay.
But I do appreciate being picked up. And hot tip for ladies or anyone who's watching and is going to go on a date with someone and they live either like in not a safe like apartment complex, like if you live in a house or, you're living somewhere where there's not a bunch of safety and you still want someone to pick you up. This is my hot tip. I just put somewhere down the street.
Oh, totally.
And have them pick me up from there so they don't have my address. Because if you're going on a couple first dates, you don't want someone knowing your address. But so that's a hot tip. Like, you still want them to pick you up. You don't want to be spending your gas money. Yeah. Because here's the thing. There's a lot of, like, feminine presenting tax, right? Like, men can wear pretty much, not whatever, but they have a limited amount of options that they kind of go with for the most part. Whereas women, like, we have a lot of clothing that we need to have for all these dates. We have to buy makeup. We have either perfume or some sort of like, there's a lot of extra things, like a face of makeup, at Sephora can total up to like $200 easy.
I know.
And we're putting that on to go on this date with you.
For you.
And then on top of it, you want me to spend gas?
Or pay for half the date. I've had that too. I'm just like, how dare you?
Thankfully, I've never had where someone asks me, but I've asked them. I've been like, hey, do you need help with that? Especially if I don't really want to see them again.
Oh my gosh. Can we talk about that?
I think that's fair. I think that's fair if you realize in the middle of the date, you don't want anything to do with this person. Maybe not that extreme, but if you don't want to see them again, then you can just pay for your half. And that kind of gives a little bit of a hint. And it's also just like, I think, they did ask you out, so maybe they could pay, but I think there's respect involved.
Yeah, for sure. And what's so like, it made me think of this one time I dated this guy in New York City. He was a FIDI guy, financial district, like he worked in Wall Street. Very nice guy. I just wasn't feeling him. So like when he took me out and it was like like this, I would say like by the second date, I was not feeling this man. So I offered to pay, which I never do. Cause usually like I am feeling you if I go out with you, like I've talked to you and FaceTimed you, whatever. But like by the second date, I really wasn't feeling him. And I offered to pay for the date. He was so insulted.
Really?
Yeah. He was just like, what? Because he felt rejected. I think that's what it is. Like, I think he realized that I'm not the type of woman who would offer to pay for a date. So if I am offering to pay for a date, it's because I'm not feeling you. And like, because I wasn't feeling him, he felt a sense of rejection, I think. And this is my opinion. After that, he's like, no, I'm going to pay for this date and I'm asking you out another date. Like he was determined, and he like chased me down, like called me every day, texted me every day until I agreed to go out with him again. I did. And he totally messed up that date. And I'm just like, I'm done.
Fumbled the bag.
Yeah. And I'm just like, so yeah, I will definitely offer. I think it's fair to offer to pay for the date if you know you're not feeling the guy, because the thing is like, the misconception is whatever. For me personally, I'm looking for my life partner. I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking for marriage, going towards that goal. So I personally will not waste time on a guy that I am not seeing long term, because I can pay for my food. Like I can take myself out to eat. Like I don't need a man to do that for me, but like I want him to do that for me if I'm interested in him, so that he can show that he's able to provide for me and wants to like, take care of me, because that's what I'm looking for. So it's just really just what I'm wanting to see from a man that I can see myself together with.
I think your standards aren't too high. I think that people assume because of either the way that we look that we shouldn't expect these things. And that's kind of how I was living until I was maybe like 24. I'm 26 now.
Hey.
And I agreed with the societal idea that plus size women should be settling and we should just kind of take whoever wants us.